sort of the nail in the coffin there with the ultimate. It's really well played. And there we go. Back to banning Bard.
Yes, probably a good idea. Bard banned out right away by Samsung. Callista Lulu will be the next two bans.
So same ban so far from Samsung. We'll see if they ban the Twisted Fate.
Rise.
So same bans as game one from CJ. So it'll be a Corky ban this time around, and they will be leaving the Twisted Fate up. And that is going to be difficult to deal with considering that CJ is on the red side. And we've seen a lot of TF bans aimed at Sky.
It's looking like a first pick Alistar for Samsung.
I would wager you are correct.
And I'm sure CJ is just thinking about banning it and giving them the Callista. Or not the Callista. They will take it, yeah, Italy.
So they banned the Corky. In the first game, CJ banned the Corky on the red side. But they just take it themselves to make sure they get that Alistar pick. Or the Italy, I suppose, depending on what they were gunning for. But Samsung, once again, blue side, first pick, Alistar.
Well, if our last series showed us anything, it's time to pick Jungle Rumble, and Rammus.
That's right. Yeah, we learned that from KT.
That's right. We're going into our 6th hour of casting, guys. So if things start getting a little bit loopy, don't worry about it.
I'm also
really
super jet lagged, and I haven't slept for more than 3 hours in like 2 days. So
it's okay.
I'm sorry if I fall asleep in the middle of this cast.
Well, in the early stages of this meta, I can't blame you. Might take a nap too. So maybe Fiora Lucian for CJ.
Yeah, taking the Fiora away this game.
Yeah.
Samsung has had it both games so far in this best of 3, and Fiora Lucian will be the pickups.
Thinking about Graves, I think Samsung will be happy to take that though.
Yep, Ambition did lose with it in the last game, but
only barely.
Can't take the Nidalee like he did in game number 1. So Graves Victor here, definitely a possibility for Samsung. The Twisted Fate available though, and they are going to be concerned about that. The question is whether they blind pick the TF or not.
What about a LeBlanc? Maybe not in this phase, but they might be thinking about it at least.
Yeah, I could take Graves Lysandra here.
Okay.
And because they showed Lysandra from Crown in the last game, that is going to be a flex pick for them. I would imagine well, it's hard to say because, of course, that matchup is Fiora favored in the top lane, which might make it difficult for QV to be up to his normal Lysandra tricks.
Could be. Wraith had a slow start on that Lysandra last game, but ended up making a lot of great plays towards the end.
Certainly wasn't as explosive as his LeBlanc game, but...
Yeah. Would you be kind of surprised to see Braum rather than Thresh?
Depends on what they're going for. If they're going to pick something more poke-oriented in the mid lane, if they're gunning for the Twisted Fate, still, I don't know if Sky can play Jace, but there's that possibility too. Set up a big, nice front line for a 4-1 split.
All right, Braum and Rek'Sai. Does help mitigate some of the damage coming in from the Graves and the Ezreal. Do you think it'd be wise to pick Ezreal into the Braum?
This would be a little bit weird, but I mean, the thing about Ezreal is that his Q is so spammable that you can always just work it in around Braum's shield.
True.
The only thing you're really going to be blocking is True Shot Barrage. And it would give them a lot of kiting ability and also some nice engage there with Lysandra, Poppy, and Alistar.
I suppose. Poppy Lysandra would be a pretty powerful combination.
Really thinking about whether they want to blind pick this. If they do pick Twisted Fate, they have to be very worried about the Lysandra Graves ganks on TF because those would be absolutely brutal.
Yeah. Oh,
LeBlanc, okay.
LeBlanc, a last-minute switch.
So Samsung definitely wants the lane swap this time because they're going to have 2 losing lanes. So that will be interesting if they can get it and replicate what CJ did in the last game by avoiding any kind of laning phase for a while, taking down all the outer side lane turrets.
Oh, good.
Just like last game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely what they're going to want to do, Doa.
Sure. That's what we want to. Not.
There's a lot of problems, though, with the Fiora-Lissandra matchup, and I would imagine that will be a twisted fate. That is a pretty big risk, though. Crowd will run Ignite, and that combined with the Graves Burst could be very deadly for Sky.
Yeah,
If the Lissandra gets into the lane. And they still have the setup there from the LeBlanc, too.
Okay. What do you think about a Lux instead?
We've seen it work before. That seems mostly like a skill matchup because a lot of players have picked into it both ways. And if you can land the light binding onto the Lux, you can do onto the LeBlanc, you can do a tremendous amount of damage. So Sky will be going for the Lux, and they've got all the makings of a nice 4-1 split composition coming for CJ. Very good wave clear in the mid lane. Very good kiting with the Rek'Sai and the Braum, and it's going to be up to Untara to really do well, but there aren't tools that Samsung has to deal with a Fiora, not 1v1. Lissandra does very poorly against Fiora in the late game, so split pushing not really an option. Crown will be taking the cleanse this game on LeBlanc to avoid that light binding scenario. Sky will be taking barrier to make sure that he doesn't get 100 to 0, and so
good ideas on both sides.
Grabbing that over shield just to make it a little bit easier to survive. I like Crown taking the cleanse, though. That's not something we see, but typically when the LeBlanc-Lux matchup has gone Lux's way, it's because that full combo can really just wreck a LeBlanc if you manage to hit her with that Q.
Yeah. Cleanse has a long cooldown, though, so you might be able to get out of one of them, but you're going to have to be a careful game coming in from Crown.
Yeah, that said, you do get a lot of kill pressure, though, onto Lux later on if you can get rolling.
Yep, very true. Well, here we go. Samsung versus CJ Entus. Game number 3. Let's do it.
Everybody wants to rule the world. There's a room where the light won't find you. Holding hands.
All right. Welcome to Summoner's Rift for the last time tonight. Samsung taking on CJ Entus and their legion of screaming, energetic fans. And they should be after that last game. It was pretty exciting towards the end, despite being a little bit messy throughout.
Really questionable use of teleport at the end of that game, and pretty big mistake from Samsung by letting CJ into that mid lane track, but in the end, CJ does come out victorious. Samsung fought back well there for a while, but couldn't close the game.
Yeah, they had the stronger team fight, but it seems like once they realized that, it was already too late. They'd lost too many turrets. There are Keystone Masteries.
Yeah, pretty much what you'd expect.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
Nothing too out of the ordinary. And we are going to see an attempt here, just like last game, where the team with the stronger duo lane attempts to call that lane swap, but they are not going to find it. So Samsung is going to get what they want this game, which is pretty huge.
Man, Life and Kramer just starting with the Krugs. It's a Krug start for both sides.
Everybody loves the Krugs.
No, they don't. They're killing them. They don't. It's the opposite of loving the Krugs.
They love killing the Krugs.
That's more like it. It's a Krug extermination. They just keep coming back.
Yeah, they're really pesky vermin in the jungle.
Yeah.
I'd be annoyed if I tried to kill something and it came back every 5 minutes.
It would be annoying. Sounds like mosquitoes in my apartment in summertime.
Yeah, there's a real brambleback infestation, you know?
Yeah, and same with these rock dudes, too.
Constantly killing rocks only to have them come back and terrorize you once again.
Yep. Oh, Wraith. Wow, Wraith really harassing at these wolves. Hardcore, man. All right. Take some damage. Saunters out. You know, if I was trying to prevent rock monsters from coming back, I would just take the rocks of the ones I killed earlier, and I would build like a horrific sculpture of it dying right where they usually show up, so that if one decides to, they're like, oh, whoa, that's creepy, man. I'm out of here. Scare them away, you know?
Where would they go to? I mean,
I don't don't know, back into the mountains from whence they came.
Back into the ground from
Yeah.
whence they arose. Summoner's Rift is a self-contained environment, though. It has walls on every side. There's nowhere to run. It's just a brutal killing field.
Doesn't mean you can't go through the ground if you're one of these blue buff things. I mean, Rek'Sai can almost do it.
Rek'Sai, the worst tunneler in existence.
Can't even get all the way on the ground.
Just basically just digs a trench wherever she goes.
Pretty much. Not very impressive. Turret's going down on both sides, as we often see in these lane swap scenarios.
It's your favorite part of League of Legends, Toa.
Oh, I know it's your favorite part too. It'd be our favorite part together. Isn't that nice?
Help coming in here, actually. Ambition.
Yeah.
A little bit slower on that swap. So we already see the duo lane here from CJ going to be arriving just a little bit faster at this turret, and they are not going to be able to bounce this properly.
That doesn't look like enough minions are going to go down, yeah. Oh, meanwhile, Sky tries to come in on the Crown here. Crown on the run, taking the long way around. Can they possibly catch him? He's still got Flash, he's still got Cleanse. Meanwhile, people coming up from Samsung to support him. There's the Flash, Mad Life right there, though. Q hits Wraith. Dragon thinking about attacking, but not quite activated.
But this has left a really nice opportunity for Antara to really start farming in the top lane. It's a big distraction down there, and it slowed down Samsung's ability to swap into the lane. So good play there.
Yeah, well, getting Crown's Flash early on is a pretty big deal.
Big bonus all around. This Antara gets a wave that's pushing back towards him, and he has a chance to just carefully prune it. Meanwhile, we see the duo lane here from CJ pushing very hard. And Cuve left by himself. Meanwhile, Alistair is heading up towards that mid lane. And how exactly is Samsung going to respond to this? They're not going to be there for the push, so it looks like Ambition is just going to have to go down into the bottom lane to clear the wave to make sure that this turret doesn't die. So things have gone a little bit awry here for Samsung early. Looks like they're not going to push it. Mad Life senses that the time is now to recall, considering he doesn't see Alistair in the top side.
I suppose. Chance to go back and pick up some boots. But I'm really wondering how aggressive they're going to try to be on Crown. I mean, even without Flash, it's hard to catch a LeBlanc. He's still got that cleanse. Maybe a gank here. There's Wraith. All right. Yeah, we might see a play here on the Wraith and Stitch.
Combo's down for Alistair.
Yeah, I think if you're going to go, now's the time. Wraith's coming back to Ward right now. Towards Tribrush. There's a Ward. They're going to find him anyway. There's a knock-up. Wraith trying to get in position to flash over the wall. Can they do it? Wraith with the Pulverize should be able to make it, and they're not going to follow. Pretty tanky, even without that level 6. Meanwhile, Sky really harassing Crown here in the mid lane. And why not? You know, I mean, if you know where, if you know there's things going on up in top lane, put the pressure on, I guess. Whoa, that was an attempt. Oops. Oh, here comes Bubbling. They're still going to try to make a play. There's a flash knock up on the Crown. Got to pick the right one, though. Maybe they can turn this on to Ambition, but no, Ambition doing a lot of damage on that Graves. And with Kuve coming up, CJ can't really make it work.
Yeah, they did get the TP, but with the TP already used on Antara, that's not going to mean too much. And now that we see Samsung able to catch both of the waves in the side lanes, they head back. Not too much gain from that. Sky using it, Light Binding and the final spark early meant that there was a lot of opportunity for counterplay right there. And
he's lucky he got out of that without having to burn a summoner.
be something together, but look at that damage coming in from Kramer.
It's high.
It's high. He's got a cull too. He's getting it. He's doing it.
Wow. All right.
Well, it's an interesting buy because you could stack it up pretty well now, of course, if you're going to be in this lane swap situation without a lot of pressure. And if you are playing against an Ezreal who doesn't really have much in the way of combat stats, it does scale nicely. So I like that decision in this particular game.
He's working on it.
Yeah, 400 gold up. healthy CS lead.
Yep.
Big advantage when it comes to trading. Seems like a perfect time to grab a cull if there ever was one.
Grab a cull. That sounds like Lucian. Something Lucian wants to do.
He's got his cull
He
for
is.
the culling.
Yeah.
Right, ran out of
Cull
words.
culling. They just make a new champion and call him Cull.
Well, they already have an ability, Cull the Meat. And
True.
they have the culling. And now they
Two
have
abilities.
Cull the item.
New game mode coming. The culling. Blue buff for Crown. Jeez, Lysandra, are you okay?
No, we know that she's not okay. Kibe definitely not okay. Hasn't even had a chance to recall yet. Has no items.
Yeah, just Sidoran's ringing a pot.
Having to spend all his teleports running around the map, and that makes this even harder. Again, when
Sure
Tara,
does.
you know, is level 6, has a pickaxe, a longsword, and a corrupting potion already, so Kibe not really in a position to deal with this.
I mean, it's... Lysandra has those CC options, I suppose. Can pop that E to get away. Can't really trade quite as well. Now left Kramer coming down.
Yeah, they really just want this turret right now. They see that there aren't any items on Lysandra, so knowing that she is in a rather vulnerable place, they're just going to try and push this wave instead.
I
And they
guess
also
so.
see that Stitch is just trying to freeze the wave for as long as possible on the top side.
I think CJ's just gonna try to freeze it too.
Ooh, I don't know about this.
Maybe.
Bubbling is there. Uh-oh.
Now they find Ambition. Ambition, some damage onto Mad Life. Mad Life in a little bit of trouble here. He's gonna be able to make it out though.
Yeah, Lux is fainting over to that side, but doesn't have the control over mid to actually get into the river.
Yeah.
So it looks like this will be successful as Samsung moves a couple players over into the enemy jungle to push this all the way back to the turret. It's a good reaction because had Kramer and Madlife been able to get there, they may have been successful in dealing some damage at the very least, if not taking out that tier 1 on the bottom side.
Sky's still farming his best. No opportunities for Dragon just yet. Wow, what an ult.
The pink beam was real.
Yep. What lane clear. Very ult.
It was very old.
Yeah.
So Fiora, though, really starting to cause problems with the CS advantage. I mean, 400 gold about the edge right now for CJ. About 300. Just due to the extra farm they've been able to get.
Yep. Everyone's content to farm.
Well, Doe, we didn't get both turrets taken down. We have to wait longer for that this game.
Yep. Oh, Ambition a little bit caught here. Trying to back away. Ah, they missed light binding. That might have been a kill. But, well, Sky didn't have his ult, so no, I don't think so.
And didn't have his ult, and also didn't have the vision to pursue that. That time Ambition was in the right place considering where his teammates were. They were able to respond to it faster, so it takes a little bit of damage, but gets the wards in nonetheless. Unlike last game where he died in that exact same place, but because he was there under the wrong circumstances.
Well, that happens to Ambition, doesn't it? Whoa, he just took the Gromp with his smoke bomb. Smoke grenade.
Smoke bomb steal.
Smoke grenade, smoke bomb, smoke something, I don't know.
No, that's not what
Graves
you
used
should
to
be
smoke.
telling.
No, I mean, it's the name of it is to smoke something.
Uh-huh. Don't say that to our impressionable viewers, though, huh?
It's okay. I know they'll only indulge in anything that is legal in their state.
I'm from Colorado.
Yeah, that's nice.
Relevant to this conversation?
You know, ironically, Graves can't smoke anything anymore. It's banned on Summoner's Rift.
Graves must live in Singapore.
He actually has to light people on fire to have anything with smoke going on. Or throw a grenade, I guess. Now he sadly just activates a grenade underneath himself and breathes deeply. It's like I used to be able to smoke cigars, but now I only have my grenades. You know, that's really a double standard, because what produces more dangerous smoke, right? A smoke grenade or cigar? Really? Really, what's more of a risk?
I think they should just give him a vape.
He just takes a puff on the e-cig now.
Just
What
harmless water vapor.
We eat like, I don't know, hipster Graves or something. Has his patchy beard and his Doctor Who scarf and vapes.
I don't even know what the word hipster means anymore, Noah.
I don't know. It's just a generic thing at this point, you know.
Because people use that word to mean literally anything now.
Yeah, it works. Why not, you know? Jungle fight.
No. Dragon retreat.
The dragon retreat. Oh, well.
How dare you besmirch the name fighting with running away?
I know. There's nothing going on in this game.
Sure isn't. Ambition tried to be clever and come over the back of the dragon wall.
This is the worst meta ever, isn't it?
I don't know. There have been quite a few bad ones.
For me, this one kind of takes the cake. The bad cake that nobody wants to eat, that is.
The fruit cake.
Yeah,
Nobody likes fruit cake.
it's true. It's because you have candied fruit in it, which is just an abomination, man.
That's so true.
Candied fruit is truly an offense to nature. I mean, it's not really candy, and it's not really fruit.
I mean, you could just use dried fruit to be a lot better.
Oh!
Nope.
Doesn't get the blue buff. Nice try. Yeah. Dried fruit is better. Real fruit is better. An attack on Kube. Riposte works. Bubbling trying to head him off of the pass. Fight happening. Kube will just self-ult. Crown comes in looking for the kill. Bubbling in trouble. Sky throws out the shield, but it's not going to save his jungler. First blood finally goes over to Ambition.
Yeah, they were playing like Ambition wasn't there when he popped over the wall.
Yep.
Plus, they had the ability for that LeBlanc to roam, so getting an assist early. It's not as much, obviously, as he had at that 3-minute solo kill in game number 1, but you saw what Crown can do on that LeBlanc, and it was very impressive.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Sky? It's going to be just fine. Look out, he's fine. Minions aren't fine, though. Pretty even game, as you might expect. Nothing to add to that over
Nope.
there, Monte Cristo? No?
As you would expect.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now it's dragon time.
All right. Samsung takes it. The end.
It was a good story.
Yep. Not for the dragon. For Samsung.
It never ends well for the dragon in League of Legends. If he's lucky, he kills like one person. They send the puniest dragons to Summoner's Rift. They are really just not terrifying.
Yeah, man. You need some serious dragons in the Rift.
Even Baron's not that scary. He never actually kills anybody.
Well, not anymore. Well, not in pro play anyway.
He just causes people to be killed. Does some damage, groups them up for other people.
He's just kind of flattered. He's like, oh, you guys, you don't need to fight over me. A fight over little old me? In my pit? There's no need. I'll give my buff to anyone.
He will. He's just giving it away for free, man.
It is. Well, almost free. I would say at a steep discount. You know, Monty, I gotta be honest with you. In the intro, every time you say the name of the tournament, Coco Cone, Leave Legends, I can't keep a straight face.
No, I can't either, so there you go.
Yeah. It's just funny hearing you say the name of that snack. Oh, W. Kuvan Ambition trying to work on this turret.
They really want it. They're,
Oh, not enough, though. If they really wanted it, they would have dove for that.
they're grunting for turrets, Noah.
Grunting for turrets. I'm grunting for turrets. That's a t-shirt that's going to show up at the LCS sometime.
With a picture of Lysandra on it.
That's right. Have to say it in Korean. Hey, they got that turret. Grunting successful.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Tower up for Samsung.
Sure are. A little bit of a gold lead, too, even. Nobody really wanting to fight over any of these objectives, though. Just kind of have it, you know? It's like, I can see you're maybe a little bit stronger than I am right now, so you can have that turret. You can have that dragon. That's kind of how it is right now. I mean, with the longer death timers, it's like, well, do I really want to fight over this turret? I might die. That might be worse than losing the turret, so no.
Especially when you have that Ezreal that you're trying to propel into the late game as best you can.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about the early game. It's
You
about
could
the late game.
come over walls with your LeBlanc and your Ezreal and your Lysandra and kill that pesky Lux.
Yep.
Or maybe you and Tara will get a giant CS advantage and be an unstoppable split pusher.
You know what we need?
We will find out in 20 minutes.
We need like maybe a 30-minute, 35-minute cap on game time, kind of like fighting games have, where at the end of the game, whoever's just like done more damage wins. So then it's just like a mad race to kill as many objectives as you can, get as many kills as you can, you know? It's like a little bar. Whoa! Goodbye, Rift Herald. Meanwhile, fighting the mid lane. Results in nothing. No summoners used. No real damage done. The Rift Herald has gone to a better place.
Hell?
Hey, maybe heaven. Maybe Rift Herald heaven.
I don't think
all
so.
Rift Heralds go to heaven.
I don't think they do. He's just squatting there. We discussed this.
I suppose. He had no other choice. He had nowhere else to go, man. He was thinking about going over to Dominion. Nope, that's not going to happen now.
Maybe the Crystal Scar. Man, Skarner must be super sad now that they deleted the Crystal Scar from existence.
I guess, yeah.
Isn't that all he talks about is like going home to the Crystal Scar or whatever?
Him and Tarek really love gems and crystals. It's true.
Do you think Tarek killed a Skarner
Just
to make
put a
his
bunch
armor?
Yeah, I think so. Whoa, there's a lore interaction we haven't seen yet.
That's why he misses his kind, because Tarek has been assassinating him for fashion.
That's right. Wow, Wraith doesn't take a lot of damage. He does use his ultimate, though.
He's like Cruella de Vil.
That's true. 101 crystal scorpions. I need them for my outfit. I can see Tarek driving that car, too. Yep.
Wow, that's one of our best discoveries about League of Legends ever.
I think so. Tarek is basically Cruella de Vil only for Skarner species.
That explains where they all went.
Yeah. Into Tarek's armor. I don't even remember any of Tarek's quotes anymore. Well, Samsung takes a tier 2 already. Tara's like, there was something here I was supposed to protect. I don't remember what it was, though. I'll just kill these minions.
Well, using the range advantage on the Fiora early to at
Works
least
out.
punish her while they still can. Oh, man.
Oh, wow, over the wall, big dive onto Sky. Bubbling trying to save his mid laner. Ambition comes in for the execute. He's going to be fine. Now Bubbling may be in a little bit of trouble. Kube taking a lot of turret hits, so it's time to get out. Yeah.
Yeah, it does get some damage done on the Bubbling, though, so Kramer has to come.
Not bad.
And now we see Ezreal moving up into this top side. There's the culling to take out the cannon minion wave.
Yeah, the siege begins. Well, as soon as the minions come back anyway.
Nice post there, actually.
Not bad. Dragon should be up in just a second. Samsung's going right towards it. Yep, there it is. And with Sky out of the way, I think this one's going to go to Samsung. This will be their second Dragon now.
Nice little dive there.
Yeah.
We call it a sky dive.
It was a skydive. There was no parachute for him.
It was fatal.
Yep,
The skydive tragically ended in death.
that's right. Lux ult doesn't really do anything. Turret still goes down. Bubbling gonna chase. Here comes the teleport. They try to come in and make a play here. Shara all over Crown. A kill comes in right away.
Splash from Bubbling there on Burrowing, so he couldn't take the second part of his E to safety. And now the reversal of this play.
Yeah, they might be able to get the middle turret. Ooh, Wraith coming in with a big engage. Gets ulted though. Tara looking for that heal. He's going to be able to get it. There it is, flashing over the wall, stays away from the turret. Aggro riposte onto Stitch, makes it out. CJ coming alive. What a play.
Wow, well, I mean, that was a 5-on-4, but
still a nice play from Intara, though.
yeah, questionable engage there from Wraith, and Intara making it all the way through the turret on that Fiora.
Yeah.
Getting the riposte off at the end to deal with that damage, like you said, from Stitch. So they thought they might have had to play 3-man pulled into True Shot Barrage, but the damage just isn't there yet from Ezreal.
And they're going to get the mid lane turret for it. Maybe.
I
Maybe
think they will. TP.
Oh, TP coming in for Kube. TP Wars. Kube goes in for the W for the ult. Sky hits nothing with his ultimate. Only Sky, he gets killed though. And now it may be a Baron for Samsung right off of that. Wow, this has been just like TP play after TP play here. This game has been kind of weird.
Mad Life just blocked a True Shot Barrage with his Unbreakable, and now a 24-minute Baron, and not much that's going to stop them. All the carries are gone, and Tara isn't there. Mad Life is too low, so free Baron for Samsung as they overstay, not paying attention to the death timer from Cube, and that is going to cost them dearly.
Bubbling thinks about trying to go after this mid lane turret, but he just doesn't have the damage to do it.
Great play from Cube, and that's been one of his strengths, is finding those flanks on Lysandra, but this is just an error. I mean, the Iceborne Gauntlet is there too, so there's just no way you're getting away from this.
Yeah.
Great E flash there, gets the double W, also known as the Quadra U.
Gets the Quadra U. Yep. That's really what it's all about. Quadra U.
You're really looking for the Deca U though for the ultimate play.
That's right. Wouldn't you be, after the Quadra U, wouldn't you be going for the Octa U first?
You mean the Hexa U, but yes.
Wouldn't, wait, isn't Octa 8 though? We're doubling it each time. 2, 4, 8.
Well, you'd have to hit 4 people with that though, that's the thing.
It's doable. It's not impossible. Baron push coming in. Crown looking for some damage on the Sky, finds Mad Life instead. Tier 2, looks like Samsung's closing this one out a bit quicker. That chain of events, though, before the Baron was just so bizarre. It was like, I'm going to TP behind you. Now I'm going to TP behind you. One more TP. Yeah, minion wave doesn't go down. That's a Baron-powered minion wave. Tier 2 turret taken out.
It is. So Samsung very quickly accelerating this game and managing to make the most out of this Baron. They now have all the outer turrets down. Very nice 7K gold lead, so just bouncing right back after that tough loss and looking like they'll be firmly in control of this one, just like they were in game 1 of this series.
Yep. So far so good for Samsung. A little bit of Baron buff remaining. Actually about a third remaining. That's not bad at all. They have gotten a lot done with this. Going for the inhibitor turret up in top lane now. CJ's going to engage. This is going to be the time to do it. Culling used Wraith, kicked into the back lines. Lux ultimate does some damage onto Stitch. They still can't save their turret. Wow. Kube going in. Ult onto Mad Life now, looking for a kill. Mad Life throws out that Unbreakable. Not quite such. Untara comes in, tries to make a play. Taken out by Crown right away, though. Bubbling on his own. You know what? Fighting 1v4 repeatedly for CJ just hasn't worked out. Are we actually going to see the end of the game right here?
Yeah, looks like we might. They're just going to press in and take it. They have 2 cannon minions, so plenty of tankiness.
The carries are alive, though. Sky trying to make a play. Whoa, there goes Kramer. Crown's got enough damage for it. Sky taken out. There's the ace, and there's the game. So after all that, Monty, a 27-minute win for Samsung to close this series out. This was a bizarre best of 3, wasn't it?
Well, it escalated really quickly, and I think what we could say about this is Samsung, they had a pretty convincing Game 1 victory and a pretty convincing Game 3 victory, and when they were down out of the laning phase in Game number 2, they still nearly came back. So, yeah, pretty strong statement for Samsung, ability to play from ahead and behind.
I mean, CJ just looked tired in that last game. Very lackadaisical, not the best plans, and Samsung just capitalizing. Pretty simple win, honestly, for Samsung in Game 3.
Yeah, thanks to Cube. It looks like
Yeah.
the big misplay there was not accounting for the teleport timer, and that was a pretty big error that allowed Lissandra to get behind them as they pressed too hard onto that mid lane turret.
Yep. Yeah, very solid Lysandre play from Cuvée, and it's a disappointing loss for CJ. And you can tell this is a team that, you could see them still making that playoff or playoff run rather. They've come close to winning a lot of these best of threes, but
I mean, honestly, if you're CJ, how upset could you possibly be considering that you know that you have these players that are just waiting in reserve for the second round robin that are most likely huge upgrades?
well, I think the answer, Monty, is you are one of the players that's on the team right now.
Well, they're still 3 and 4 at the end of the day, so they've taken more wins than we thought, having looked at their roster coming into the season. And today they showed once again how strong they can be with these poke compositions, and Kramer had a good showing.
Yeah, I suppose. Mad Life he carried pretty hard in Game 2, but as anyone who plays a lot of support knows, you can only carry so hard on support, man.
Still impressive. Bard MVP performance for him.
Yeah. And we'll see who our MVP is for game number 3. It is Cuvée. Again, no surprises. Every MVP this today's matches. Cuvée made the plays, did a great job, and he will be at 400 points.
And, he's probably been the most impressive top lane Lissandra that we've seen this season. He's just so on point. He draws a lot of these Lissandra bans, and
This was the first blood,
yeah, I can see why he earns it.
or gives it to Ambition anyway.
Yeah, this was great though, just finding that time, Ambition helping him out, coming over the wall, and using his dash to come forward and finish off that kill. But this is really what won them the game, of course, that turning this into the Baron, getting both Kramer and Sky, who are woefully overextended with no turret to back them up, and
Yep.
that's just a pretty fundamental error right there.
Nice ult on the Mad Life again. And a defenseless CJ kind of collapses. Able to handle Utara when he comes in really quick too. That could have actually turned the fight around with a lot of low health members of Samsung, but they picked their targets well.
Yeah, it's just I like how decisively they closed this game too.
Yeah.
Taking a look at that minion wave and the Baron buff, knowing that they had it pretty much in the bag, and they had the burst too, that if they got too far out, they were just going to get shredded.
It was enough. And so that means it's time for an MVP interview with our victorious Samsung players, and George will be translating again. Go ahead.
All right, hello Champions fans. The second set, Samsung versus CJ. Of course, Samsung was able to beat CJ 2-1. And let's meet our MVPs, Crown and Cuvée. All right, first of all, for Crown, yep, it is your 5th victory. How do you feel? It was really shaky. So, and I think it is a very big win for us. I know you play very well with your LeBlanc. How many solo kills did you get? I think 2 or 3 maybe? I heard you practiced a lot. How much did you practice? Last season, I also practiced a lot. But I realized that conditioning, is also a big part of winning. So I didn't practice too much this season, but as much as the other pro gamers. I know your LeBlanc kind of, almost picked on the opponent, and it is your first LeBlanc pick. Did you expect your performance? Every practice game, I actually played pretty well with LeBlanc, and I felt like it was a very good pick for me. And I told my coach that I will play her, and he said yes, you could if you want. First set, I know your team members stole your blue. What did they say? He said it was delicious.
뭐라고 했나요? 그러면
What did you say?
형을 위해서 제가 리시를 하고 있었습니다.
He said I was initiating just for you to get the blue.
아마
buff.
앞으로의 경기력도 또 좋은 모습이 나오길 팬분들 많이 기대하실 것 같은데요. 마지막으로 한
All right, please say something to the fans.
응원해 주시는
Thank you for all the cheering.
집에서 응원해 주시는 저희 가족분들도 다
I also appreciate my family members who are
드리도록 노력하겠습니다.
cheering for me at home.
네, 크라운 선수 오늘 승리
Thank you very
다시 한번
much.
축하드리고요. 또 기대해 보도록 하겠습니다.
All right,
축하드립니다.
congratulations for
자,
Crown.
이제 큐베 선수와
Next
이야기
up
나눠보도록
is Kuve.
하겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
Hello.
네, 큐베 선수 또 오랜만에 인터뷰하게 됐는데
It's been a while since you had an MVP interview. How do you feel? I was really nervous because we were playing against CJ because they were a really good team now, and I feel really happy.
근데 또 삼성은 진해와의 연승 행진을 끊은 적도 있잖아요.
I know Samsung once
오늘 시즌에
stopped
준비하면서
CJ
어떤
or
것들을 많이 준비했나요?
Jinair's consecutive wins. Did you practice a lot? I know CJ doesn't have much of a wide variety of champion picks,
공격적인 부분의 전략을 많이
so we practice a lot in the band pick strategy.
선수와 맞대결이었는데 혹시 긴장하진 않던가요?
Did Wraith was Wraith nervous against playing against MedLife? He wasn't too nervous.
숙소에서
Is this normally how you talk? Yes, this is how I normally talk
꽉
at
잡고
home.
있는 것 같은 느낌이 듭니다. 오늘 리산드라로 좋은 모습을 보여줬는데
You play very well with your Lissandra. On the second set, it was very, were you very nervous? How was your feeling? The early game, they were leading the game, and I felt like if we go late in the game, we might have a chance, but we were a little bit short.
그때 왜 그렇게 유유히 방황했던 건가요?
So what happened at the last scene when they just ran for the Nexus? We were just trying to get a team fight, but we didn't expect them to just run to the
그래도
Nexus
어쨌든
tower.
3세트까지 승리 가져갔는데 3세트는 2세트에 비해서 그냥 라인전하고
On the third set,
쉽게 승리 가져간 것
Seemed like it was an easy win victory for you compared to the second set. What was the reason behind it? We were snowballing after a couple of wins. When they were coming to the mid lane, I was able to get the kill. We were all able to get the kill together, and it was an easy win for us.
3세트까지 가면서 접전 끝에 승리하느라 굉장히 힘들 텐데
I know you're probably having you're very tired right now, playing a long game. Please say something for the next game. I know we're playing against Bennu. Although it is Bennu, we will try to practice and give our best. All right, congratulations for Samsung and the two MVPs. Take it away, guys.
All right, thank you for the translating, George. And so Samsung gets the 2-1 win over CJ. It was a crazy match. It was a crazy set of 3 games, but in the end, Samsung proving that they deserve to move up, and a 2-1 victory for Jinair in our first series of the night.
Yeah, interesting. Of course,
Yeah.
that game 2 was very intriguing that KT won with the top Rammus and the jungle Rumble, and then Jinair playing a very methodical style of just pushing them off the turrets with Rumble and Trundle ults in game number 3.
Yeah, it worked really well. And Samsung versus CJ, it was wacky, it was wild, it was sloppy, it was incredibly entertaining, and in the end, Samsung decided to close this one out fast, in game 3 at least.
Well, in game 1 also, they had the 5 kills early on LeBlanc, so that
Yeah.
certainly helped them snowball the victory.
It did, and so Jinair is in second place, of course, right above SK Telecom. Samsung moving up above KT Rolster. Didn't expect to see that at the beginning of the season, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. Now tomorrow, SK Telecom versus Longzhu Gaming. Longzhu really needing a win. Going to be tough to get it against SKT though. EM Fire taking on the Afrika Freaks after that.
It should be really interesting to see which roster Longzhu brings out.
Yeah, they've got a lot of options now. And then KT Rolster versus CJ on Saturday. Should be a nice comeback for KT, a good opportunity to get themselves another win. And then Jinair versus Rox Tigers. That one is really going to be good.
I mean, Jinair has now defeated SKT. They've defeated KT. So can they actually take out the number 1 team? They've been doing well against the top half of the field.
It's a tall order, but it'll be interesting. SK Telecom versus the Afrika Freaks. Then on Saturday, Spenu Sonic Boom versus Samsung, our second best of 3 that day.
Yeah, Samsung moving into the softer part of their season, so trying to close out on a high note. It's interesting, we take a look at Samsung, and yeah, they're 5-3 now, but they're only +1 in terms of games, which means when they win, they usually win in 3 games, and when they lose, they usually lose 0-2.
Yeah.
So that's been a bit rough for them. We'll see if they can increase that point spread at the very least.
That's right. Well, thanks for watching Champions Spring, guys. We'll be back with more League of Legends action here from Seoul, South Korea. Until then, chill out, play some games, and we'll be back with you in less than 24 hours. You and Papa Smithy, have fun.
Not you.
Get some sleep.
I will.
I'll be with you in spirit, maybe in chat. See you then.